Hi and welcome to Whisky Shared. You're watching episode 50 of my Mystery Monthly Minis. I'm Toby and you're watching Whisky Shared. Welcome to episode 50 of my Mystery Monthly Minis. If you've seen this before and you know it works, then you can just skip straight forward to the tasting. Otherwise, the way this works is I have over 100 samples in my sample collection and my wife has picked one at random. She's put it into a blue Glencairn glass and I'll nose it, I'll taste it, I'll tell you if I like it and I'll have a stab at what I think it is. This is just for fun, so sometimes I get it right and sometimes I get it wrong. Should we find out what I'm drinking? On to the whiskey. If you'd like to play along and find out what's in my glass when I do, then just keep watching. Otherwise, take a look in the description now for a sneak peek. Let's start with the nose. Right, so this isn't giving away much at all. Getting a bit of ethanol, a bit of sort of acetone. Possibly a bourbon. Or an American whiskey. I think I'm getting some brown sugar, some charred oak. Yeah, there's definitely some like new wood in there. It seems quite hot on the nose, so it's probably a high ABV. There's like a polish note. Yeah, there's like a hint of like boot polish. But I'm struggling to get much more. Let's move on to the palate. This is interesting because it immediately reminds me of something like Redbreast Irish whiskey, but there is also a familiarity with like a bourbon. There's like a crossover. I'm getting that sort of pot still green, sort of sherried Irish whiskey, but there's a hint of bourbon in the background. So I am leaning more towards a sherried Irish whiskey at this stage. It does seem slightly hot, so I'd suggest it's higher than 50% ABV. But yeah, it's quite interesting, this one. Let's have another sip. Yeah, it is slightly confusing. It definitely has more of a character which aligns with the likes of the Redbreast family of whiskies and the Spot family of whiskies. It's that sort of vibe. But there is definitely a slightly bourbon-esque flavour in there, but I think I'm going to discount that. I think I'm going to go with Ireland. I think I'm going to go with possibly, Middleton. So something like a Spot whiskey or a Redbreast. I think it's been aged in some sort of wine or sherry, but it's quite thin on the palate. It's quite fizzy, but yeah, it definitely rings a bell with that sort of character. Let's have one final sip. Yeah, it's definitely quite bold, the the sort of sherry flavours I'm getting with this, or the wine flavours. But as I said, it's quite thin on the palate. It's quite fizzy, quite sprightly. So I think it's quite young. I think it's high ABV, definitely. I think it's probably 55 plus. And I think it's from Middleton in Ireland. Should we find out what's in my glass? Right, so it's Filey Bay Yorkshire Day 2020. It's 55% ABV and it was sent to me by Matthew Dugdale. So thanks, Matthew. Well, obviously it's not a Middleton whiskey. It's not from Ireland. It's English. But yeah, so as this is 2020, I'm assuming this is the release date. So it's obviously almost 5 years old now, as in it was released 5 years ago, is my belief. But it would still be a young whiskey of sorts. But yeah, I don't know anything about this whiskey. I know a little bit about the Spirit of Yorkshire distillery, and there's a few of their whiskies that I really enjoy. But I'm assuming this is quite young. Obviously, if I can find out any details about this particular release, I'll put it on screen for you now. But yeah, I don't think I've had much from the Filey Bay whiskey range. Their Muscatel cask I really like. But yeah, I've only had a few, maybe 3. And what I've had, I've liked. I think this comes across as a little young. It could be it needs a bit more time in the glass, and it might need time to appreciate it properly. But it's definitely a distillery that's doing good things, and it's definitely a distillery I need to buy more of, because I have really appreciated some of the expressions I've had in the past. If there's a particular whiskey from this distillery that you'd like to share and you think I should try, then obviously let me know in the comments as always. And if not, hopefully you found this interesting, and I'll see you again soon. Stauncher. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, why not give it a like or a comment, and please consider subscribing for more videos like this.